dire warning from climate scientists who've given their latest update on global warming. Just a reminder, through the Paris Agreement on climate change, the world is supposed to be trying to limit temperature increases to 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels. That's considered the tipping point at which climate impacts become increasingly harmful. Well, now the World Meteorological Association says there's a 50-50 chance that the annual average temperature will temporarily reach 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels for at least one of the next 5 years. The WMO also says there's a 93% likelihood of at least 1 year between 2022 and 2026 becoming the warmest on record, beating the current record holder, which was the year 2016. Well, let's talk to Maxx Dilley, the director of the climate program at the World Meteorological Association. Max, welcome. There's not much cheery stuff in here. Have we achieved nothing?
Well, the trend over the last, I'll start in the middle of the 20th century, has been that each decade is warmer than the last decade. And as you rightly said, the warmest year on record was 2016, 1.3 degrees above pre-industrial levels. And now we have a 50-50 chance that 1 year at least in the next 5 years we'll have a global mean temperature of 1.5 or higher. So this means that we're now approaching the lower limit that the Paris Agreement seeks to achieve in limiting the global warming.
You say in your report that the breaking of the 1.5% Celsius target will be what you describe as only temporary. What do you mean by that?
The Paris Agreement the temperature goal in the Paris Agreement is a long-term goal. And just because the overall trend in the temperature is upwards doesn't mean that every single year is warmer than the preceding one. So, for example, since 2016, the temperature has dropped slightly to around currently 1.1 degrees above pre-industrial levels. That's because there are modulating factors such as El Nino or La Nina events, which either amplify in the case of El Nino or dampen in the case of La Nina the warming. So if we were to have 2 years from now, let's say, an average annual global temperature of 1.5 degrees, that doesn't mean that from then on it would stay above that level. We might have 1.4 or 1.3 degrees in the years after that. What will happen, though, is if the concentrations of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, which is what is trapping all this heat, continue to increase, we will see 1.5 degrees more and more frequently until all the years are 1.5 degrees or even higher. And this is what, of course, we need to avoid, and this is what the Paris Agreement is trying to accomplish.
The target of 1.5 Celsius above pre-industrial levels became central, didn't it, to global climate policy negotiation. Does it matter that this target has been broken as far as those negotiations go?
The day that the global temperature arrives at 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels will be like any other day. It's not that the world ends as soon as that limit is reached. It's just that from 1.5 degrees to 2 degrees above pre-industrial levels, we get into truly dangerous territory with more and more dramatic consequences for ecosystems, the environment, and society. And if we get beyond 2 degrees, the scientific consensus is that we will be in a new world where these consequences could be truly devastating. So it's a range which is set based on science, and that's why that limit 1.5 and the other limit of 2 degrees has been set.